Hey guys, it's Alice here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different to what I normally do. I normally do quite a few like beauty and lifestyle related videos on this channel, but I would like to do something different because if you watch my monthly favourites you'll know that I really do enjoy books. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favourite books of all time. Deep breath. Now these don't particularly have an order. I was going to try and do 5, but I really struggled to narrow it down because some of them I love them for the writing style, the plot line, the characters, or sometimes I just love them for the specific time I read them and how it made me feel, or how like influential it was in my life, I guess. I'm just going to do them in the order that they go along my bookshelf. Excuse my hair by the way, I look like a lion. Okay, so my first favourite book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, and if you haven't heard of this book, obviously one of my all-time favourite books because it's in this video. We follow this 18-year-old assassin called Selena Sardothian, and she gets taken out of these salt mines where she's a slave to train to be the king's champion. And she has to basically enter a contest that's kind of Hunger Games type-esque, where there's, God, I can't remember how many participants, but there's like 20 participants, and they all have to perform tasks and challenges and duels against each other in order to become the king's champion. It's basically an assassin for the king. So basically this is the first book in that series. The reason that this is in this video is because this is the book that properly got me out of my reading slump. I used to read all the time when I was younger up until about the age of 11, and then I just stopped and I didn't really read anything anymore. I'd read a couple before that was getting me into the swing of things, but this is the one that just completely gripped me, and I would put off doing all my schoolwork because I wanted to read this, and it was just a really good book for me because I think if I hadn't read this book then I probably wouldn't have got back into reading as much as I have, and honestly I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I really recommend it. My next favourite book is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, and the reason this is in this video is because this book got me through quite a tough time, like this book series. Little backstory, when I was in year 7 I had no friends for about half a year, 7 months, so I would just bring in books every day to school to read when I had no friends. At that time The Hunger Games was such a big book to me because I've reread this series 7 times, and that is no word of a lie, 7 times. I remember I would just always be bringing this into school. Oh my god, it's broken. This is how much I read it. Can you see that? Yeah, it's had a lot of love. Also, this was the first book I proper cried at. Basically, I didn't cry at the bit everyone would assume I would cry at. I cried at the bit when Katniss is talking to Buttercup the cat. I cried at that bit, and yeah, this book series basically just got me through a really hard time, and it's always going to be one of my favourite books for that reason. My next should hopefully come as no surprise to those of you who know me, but it is Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian. I love Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson is one of the book series that I could reread for ages. When I was starting to just build up my kind of book collection again, I bought these, I reread these because I really wanted to buy the Heroes of Olympus series, and I've already read them, all of them apart from the last book in that series. This book is the last book in the Percy Jackson series. It's the 5th one and is about the huge battle between the Titans and the gods and how the demigods will fit into that. I love this book so much. Just Rick Riordan's writing is absolutely phenomenal. He's so humorous, and he's writing this from 15-16-year-old Percy's point of view. This is one of those books that I can't read out in public because I look like such an idiot because I'm sat there laughing to myself, because some of the lines in here are just absolutely brilliant. I love it. It's such a good book. Yes, there are sad points in it, but I could read this and instantly feel happy. I think pretty much all of these books, by the way, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I think there's one that I didn't, but I'll talk about that in a second, but all of them I gave 5 out of 5 stars. My next favourite book, which again should come as no surprise, is City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, and this is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments series, which basically follows our main character Clary Frey and her friends. I'm not going to go into details because that will give things away. Simon, Jace, Izzy, Alec, all them. I think this is quite a lot of people's favourite books out of all of the Mortal Instruments series, because this has got a massive plot point in it and you find out so many things that you aren't aware of. I would honestly say I think it's one of the most important books in the series. Again, along with the humour, Simon, the way Cassandra writes Simon is absolutely brilliant. He makes me laugh so much. Nobody else seems to get it. I'll look up Simon quotes on my phone and read them to my friends and nobody understands how funny he is. If I say them out loud, they're not funny, but if you read them in a book, they're just so funny. Simon and Percy, I don't know whose humour I like best, because obviously Percy's a lot younger than Simon, so Simon's a lot more developed in his humour. I just love it so much. This next book is a really important book to me, and I'm going to say is one of my top 3 favourites. This book taught me the power of novels, and it talks about really serious issues as well. 13 Reasons Why by J. Asher. This book is about a girl who commits suicide and she leaves 13 tapes. Each tape is a reason why she committed suicide. I think it's an absolutely amazing book because the boy that we follow is called Clay Jensen. He kind of had a crush on this girl, and when he gets delivered these tapes, he's got no idea why he's on the tapes. He didn't think he's done anything wrong to upset her, and he's really confused, and we're really confused because we really like this character and we have no idea what he could have possibly done to be a reason that Hannah killed herself. But honestly, this just really hit home about how little things can have a massive snowball effect and really affect how someone's feeling. If you pulled one person out of this story who did something to Hannah, you'd think it was insignificant, but when you hear them all again and again and again, you really feel sympathy for her, and I think it's such an amazing book and is a real big eye-opener as well. Also, one thing I think is brilliant is somebody on the internet has recorded some parts of the tapes. So if you search in like 13 Reasons Why, tape 1, side A or whatever, you can hear some parts of it being read out. And so I would like follow along with that. The way this person narrates it kind of is absolutely brilliant. You can feel all her emotions, and I think it's such an amazing thing to have with it. I think this would make an absolutely brilliant movie, but they would have to do it right. Yeah, this is honestly one of my proper favourite books of all time. Okay, so the next one is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, and the reason I picked this book is because I remember when I was reading this book I was completely gripped. I couldn't put it down. I remember staying up until like 4 in the morning finishing this book. I just didn't want to put it down and I was so engrossed in the book. And this is one of the only books that as soon as I finished reading this, I wanted to read the second one absolutely immediately. But I bought it quite recently, so I'm going to be reading that soon. This is such an amazing contemporary. It's about a girl called Lara Jean who sister goes away to university halfway across the world. She writes letters for every boy she's ever been in love with or had a crush on or any kind of feelings for. She writes them all down in a letter to get her feelings out, puts them in a box and keeps them away. And then one day all these letters get sent out, and it's her dealing with these people knowing how she felt about them. And at the end is not a cliffhanger, but it makes you want to read the next book. You want to find out what happens between her and this boy. There's kind of a love triangle, but kind of not. Love triangles annoy me, and this didn't, because I was so engrossed into the story and I understood in her head how there could be a love triangle. Okay, so this next one is another contemporary, and this is the one that I didn't give 5 stars. I think I gave this 3 or 4. This is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I really did like this book. But the reason I picked this book is because of kind of the memory that comes with it. This is quite a relatable book for me. It's about 2 twins called Kath and Ren who go to university and then they kind of go their separate ways. Kath is a lot more shy and quiet and likes to keep to writing her fanfiction, whereas Ren is quite outgoing, goes to parties all the time, gets drunk, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not as shy as Kath. I've got a lot better, but when I first moved to this place with Grace, that was kind of our situation, except we didn't split off, we kind of stayed together. But I really enjoyed reading a book about twins. I really liked that, but the main reason I picked this was because I remember reading this on Christmas Eve, and I read this in one day. And I remember just sitting like curled up with all my family, just reading this book. And I don't know, it's just quite a nice memory for me just to have that, and yeah, that's why I picked this book. The next book is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and the reason I picked this is because the plot twist in this is the best plot twist I've ever read in my life. I completely did not see this coming at all. I talked about this on, I think it was my January favourite. Yes, it has some tropes that you can see from other books, like living in the slums, like the Hunger Games, and having like certain powers and all this kind of stuff, but this plot twist made this book brilliant. It was absolutely amazing. If you want to hear more about what happens in this book, then go, I think, to my January favourites. But yeah, I really recommend this book. I think it's brilliant. This next one is kind of hard to explain why I love this book so much. This is I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Law. And I just remember watching the movie and really wanting to read the books because it's quite similar to the movie. And I read this book and I really want the next ones in the series, but they're all like £8-9 each. And because I go through books quite fast, I can't justify me spending that money on them. I like to try and spend like £5 or lower. I don't know, I just really liked this book. Something about the storyline and the characters, I just really enjoyed it. And it's a sci-fi book, which is quite different to what I normally read, but I think it's amazing and I really want to read the rest of the series. There's like 9 books in the series and I'm so interested to see what happens in this. Also, I normally quite like to read the books before I see the movies. With this one, I quite enjoyed having seen the movie before because then I had Alex Pettyfer in my head for the main character. And that's always a good thing, right? The next one I was unsure about whether to put it in this video, and that is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, the second Cassandra Clare book in this video. The reason is because I'm on the 3rd book and I read these books obviously back to back, so they all kind of merge into one for me. I'm only like 100 pages into the 3rd one. I'm not sure whether that would be my favourite one in the series. I really like this one in the series because, well, I don't know which is my favourite one in the series. First one, which is Clockwork Angel, I think is really good because there is such a big plot twist at the end. You don't expect it, like you really don't expect it. She builds it up so well. She's so good at adding traitors but making you not realise they're traitors, weaving in that plot twist into the storyline, and I think her writing style is absolutely brilliant. Okay, so that is all of my top 10 favourite books at the minute of this year. I feel like some of them will always be my favourite books. This doesn't mean that they're like 1 and 2 out of the 10, but some of them, like The Hunger Games and 13 Reasons Why, I think will always be in my top 10 favourite books because the meanings behind those were so important to me. And Throne of Glass, I think, because that started me back off on my reading journey and I love that book. I think it's brilliant. I've never ever in my life pre-ordered a book, and I've pre-ordered the 5th book that's coming out in that series called Empire of Storms, so that as soon as it comes out in September I will own it. That is how much I love that series. But yeah, I know this was a bit different. Well done if you stuck with me through this. I know books aren't everyone's thing and some people prefer movies and all this kind of stuff, but I do think books are really special and I really do love books, and I'm hoping to grow my book collection, my bookshelf over time. If you have any video suggestions or book recommendations, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to me if you haven't, if you'd like to see some more videos like this. I know I haven't gone into depth about all of these books, but I'm not very good at giving non-spoilery reviews and talking about plot points and stuff. I don't have as many books as other booktubers. I've got like between 50 and 60. I've read quite a lot of books in my life and you get quite muddled, especially in series, between what happens in each book in each series. Especially with the Mortal Instruments series, I read 5 of the 6 books in 7 days straight, and they're all like 400 to 500 pages. That was impressive. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you'll have an amazing day. I've got to go to work now. I will see you soon. Bye.